Well, we've certainly had some action around here already today. We've had a packed programme of races. I mean, you can always catch stuff on Eurosport Player that you're not getting live on television. We've already covered things like the Superstock 1000 first race here. We've already covered the Junior Supersport 600. There's stuff that's always available on the Eurosport Player if you want to check it out there. Now then, we're on the warm-up laps, and Jack Kennedy leading the way.
He is indeed. Obviously, Kennedy is on pole. And it's interesting, there's only a handful of guys that got into the 46s. His pole position was a 46.4. And, you know, Jack managed to do 6 46s. Ben Curry did 4 46s. And then no one else managed more than one of the other riders that were in the 46s. So those two definitely look like they've got the edge to me. And you would have to say that Jack's probably just got a fraction more than Benjamin Curry, but having Curry coming off 2 wins, you know, he knows how quick he is. He's a very confident youngster, and he knows he's going to take that fight. He leads the championship, so I don't think they're going to be able to shake each other.
Jack Kennedy, Ben Curry, Bradley Jones on the front row. Jamie Perrin, Joe Francis, Ross Twyman on row 2. Notice the times. The lap record still belongs to Kyle Ride from 2015, 46.17. Tom Oliver is in 7th place ahead of Dan Stamper and Robert Kennedy. Oliver and Stamper, of course, rookies from the Superstock 600. And then James Rispoli back in the category I think he's strongest in, ahead of Bradley Perry and Kurt Wigley.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see Rispoli have a good ride.
It would.
Yeah, I know he got fourth, didn't he, in the race at Donington.
The moment I mentioned how well he was doing, yes, down he went and became one of the Craner Curves Club.
There was a lot going on at that weekend because it was so cold, wasn't it? They were struggling at that left of Craners, lots of riders. Right. Here we go.
And this is where James is looking completely over my shoulder here. He's standing up now because he's looking down. We've got that view, exactly that view, from the right-hand side window of our Erie up on top of the grandstand. So we can watch well, I'll watch the screen. James can watch what's going on down there as the lights prepare to go on. And then when they're off, this is where Kennedy's shooting. He wants to get away a bit better. Oh, this time he does. Curry, though, matches him. Bradley, and again, that Kawasaki of Michael de Vidal is so strong off the start. Oh, there's a few elbows out.
Kennedy went right out the outside. Wow. You don't see that very often. And he's got the line as well. And Perrin there in 3rd.
Perrin, again, this time gets round the outside of Bradley Jones, round Druid. So Perrin's so impressive. And Bradley Jones getting knocked about a bit in the first 2 or 3 bends here.
I'm very impressed with Bradley Jones, though, so far. I mean, putting it on the front row, he's done really well.
But now he's got to get into the kind of the punchy early laps of the race, and Perrin there, who qualified just behind him, just off the front row, they're already opening up a gap on the second of the Integro Yamahas. This is going to be a fascinating race. These 3, remember, Perrin appeared to have the pace of the 2 championship leaders in the first race.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he seems really up for it in his body language, his pace, and these 3 already are just shaking a bit. And you've got to be very careful in these early laps of the race. You know, you don't want to give too much away, you don't want to make any mistakes, but also equally on a track like this, it's so hard to pinch back. You lose half a second. You know, it can take you 5 laps to pinch that back. You know, 10th here, 10th there. It's not an easy track to grab back time.
And Perrin on the Slide Codor Go Racing Developments Yamaha. There is a fella from Kettering, a swimming pool engineer who is nicknamed Reggie for some reason. But I tell you what, there's nothing Reggie about the way he's riding right now. He's looking right on the pace of these 2. He'll be smarting, of course, from having been prevented from riding at Donington Park. He took it very well, but any form of concussion these days tends to prevent any medical passage into race day. Kennedy, Curry, Perrin, Jones, Francis. Joe Francis having a good ride. The Cheshire boy in 5th, ahead of Tom Oliver. Rispoli 7th. Allingham has got a much better start. He's ahead of his teammate Twyman, who way out-qualified him.
And behind them, finishing out the top 10 is Westmoreland.
A former runner-up twice in this championship, James Westmoreland.
Yep, 2010, 2016.
He, of course, is on the 2nd of the Gearlink Kawasaki's. I was impressed with that, James. That was good knowledge there. That's swept out in front of people. People are always nagging me about that kind of stuff, and you just whipped it out there. Very sensible. Very sensible piece of scribble. Oh, and here comes Curry, gets inside Kennedy. And Jacko can't do anything about that. He's got to let the Australian through. Fastest lap, Curry, 46.849.
Yeah, so still early laps here. Remember, 16-lap race, so They're just getting going now. Obviously, everything up to temperature. Beautiful day here at Brands Hatch. Sunshine, warmth. We forgot what it feels like to go racing like this, didn't we, Jack?
Yeah. Norma and the late Norma and Michael Dubidoff, they've come so close to this championship in the past. And Ben Curry's been with them a couple of years now, and he's started to show real promise with his race wins early last year. Ended up with a slightly inconsistent season, but he's so well prepared this year.
Yeah, watch number 4, Jack Kennedy. I think he's going to carve the inside here at Paddock. He's just had a really good drive up. He's got the inside line, and he's going to make that pass back, identical pass back that Curry did in that before. Is he going to run a little bit wide? No, absolutely spot on.
James, people say there are no passing places on the Brands Indy, but we see plenty of overtaking, really.
Yeah, that's the best passing spot, and also coming up into Druids. You can do a bit of a block pass and the final turn of clearways just after Surtees. Yeah, there are passing spots, but they're not easy. You've got to really make sure your drive is great, so you allow yourself to be in a position to go past.
Already on the 5th lap of 16 here, they're virtually 1/3 race distance, and they're just edging away from Jamie Perrin. Massive moment for Ben Curry. Wow, he did rest to say that was almost a James Whittam moment. That was massive. And he did not back it off, James, or at least he didn't look as if Cuzzer backed it off, did he?
Well, he had to back it off a fraction just to stop the slide, but if you watch his back wheel here, it really is, you're so hard on the gas, and there it goes. Look at the black line he leaves, but he's got a lot of feel, he's happy with the bike, and, you know, that happens sometimes there, and you can see the team are a little bit more worried.
Michael Dubidoff on the left, and Ben Wilson, the man who took him to within a point of the British Supersport Championship in a season-long duel with Alistair Seeley on the right-hand side. Still recovering from that nasty leg break 2 years ago at the Northwest 200. But Ben, very much an integral part of the Geely Kawasaki team here in the garage.
Yeah, certainly is.
BC gets the board, and he's obviously instantly picked himself back up. 46.9 against a 47.0 for Kennedy on that lap. And the riders behind us, Joe Francis has nicked 4th place from Tom Oliver. Bradley Jones squeezed back to 6th ahead of James Rispoli, David Allingham, Ross Twyman and Dan Stamper. So we've got 3 rookies, 3 absolute rookies in this class running in the top 10.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's impressive. And there you go, there is Joe Francis, obviously on the MV. And as you say, he's got Oliver and Jones, and then Rispoli as well. Good to see Rispoli up there.
It is, isn't it? But I daren't say anything in case it all goes pear-shaped for the Equip Racing recruit for 2018. And the leader of that little group there, Joe Francis, on the Qingdao MV Augusta. Just clear of Oliver, Jones, Rispoli, Allingham, Twyman and Stamper as fast as that.
Yeah, and you can see fastest lap there for Ben Curry, the man in second on the green Geely Kawasaki. And these two now away, they've got a second over Perrin in 3rd spot. And it really is, as we thought before, those two had dominated the qualifying. They've both been the guys to put in the fastest laps, and almost certainly those guys 1st and 2nd in the championship, 1st and 2nd in the race. That's where your winner's going to come from.
Joe Francis, the tall spider of a Cheshire lad, he looks quite suited to this MV, James, running there in 4th.
He does. I mean, it's we saw he was very unlucky last year with lots of injuries and little niggles, so it's nice to see him getting going again. And that looks like, is that number 83?
Robert Childs on the JRC Racing Dawson Escalator Parts Europe Yamaha, so
that's up at Druid, so that's coming up the hill, you know, in a similar sort of position to where we saw O'Halloran go down. There's those little stutter bumps.
Just over half distance in the Dickies British Supersport sprint race, James, and this is what Kennedy's got to show, that he can run with Curry, not just run with him but potentially beat him if he's going to because remember, he already trails by 10 points in the championship, 2 races per round. Yeah,
it's a long way to go though, Jack, and I think, you know, we know Curry is also exceptional when it comes to wet weather riding. You know,
notice the big sticker stroke paint job on the side of the fairing of that beautiful blue Yamaha, Appleyard Macadam. This is very much still Robin Appleyard's, remember the reigning champions with Keith Farmer last year. And Robin had worked so hard and so long to get that Supersport championship under his belt, and he finally did it last year with that very familiar silver scheme. But now I like the Yamaha blue. It looks great. That's how a Yamaha should be, just as the Kawasaki behind it should be green. Having said that, that distinctive Jamie Perrin bike, we can always spot it any time.
Yeah, Yamahas have had some great paint jobs over the years, haven't they?
Yeah.
You go back to the yellow sort of block of the 70s American Yamahas, you know, to the white motocross bikes with their little red block, and then obviously the blue Yamahas of recent years.
It was weird actually, because the motocross bikes, the white tended to be European and World Grand Prix paint job, whereas back in the 70s and early 80s it was the yellow remained the Yamaha US livery. Oh, we got the first of our back markers coming up, 54, Mike Veldhuizen of the Netherlands on the GP2 MFS Race Engineering.
Now, this is also critical, Jack. This is, you can really win or lose races around this little Indy circle with back markers. And Jack Kennedy, he's gone straight through. He lifts him. In fact, he lifts him for both of them. But if you can be clever, if you can position yourself well, sometimes it's just as simple as luck. But sometimes it's about being brave and a little bit ruthless. But you can really make a difference. He's just going to open up an opportunity here. No, not quite on that lap. So lap 12 of 16. So just coming to this latter part of the race now. Jack is in charge, and they're coming through. They're dropped into the 47s. Look at that, both 47.3. So they're not going to be breaking the lap record here this afternoon, but not 46.8 is the fastest, and lap record's 46.1.
Ben Curry's he's getting some rear end movement there. He's really putting the power down hard, isn't he? The leading GP2 bike is Liverpudlian Josh Owens down in 17th place. James, we saw that Moriwaki get eaten up with the Dutchman on board. Why essentially are the Supersport bikes so much superior to the GP2 models?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the GP2 models, you know, the Moto2 bikes have got a better chassis, a stiffer chassis, slightly better suspension. Obviously these bikes are based on road bikes with different internals. They've got better brakes, but they are quite a lot down on power to these bikes. So that's one of the main reasons. But I do think, as Alistair Seeley proved last year, with one of these, if you put one of these riders on it, I think they'd still be at the front.
Yes, I'd forgotten that Alistair and that Spirit was they were really impressive last year, weren't they? There's Perrin in third place. Here's the battle going on between Francis and Bradley Jones was making a move there ahead of Tom Oliver. And I think, did Bradley squeeze through? No, he didn't quite. He's trying to make a move on the Qingdao Emery Augusta in black and white there.
Yeah, back
as they storm onto the start and finish straight, and Curry got great drive then, but just couldn't quite. He got alongside, but that was all.
Well, I wonder whether he's actually just measuring him up a little bit there. I think Jack's got to be careful. I think, look, we're on lap 14 of 16, so now's not the time to go, but he might well look at that lap 15, lap 16, how brave are you going to be? Are you going to leave it to the last lap, or are you going to give yourself the opportunity to do it again? So I think we're going to see that move. And there's another back marker. They're not going to hit him right on this bit quite yet, but you can see Curry's intent. He's all over him, although he lost a fraction of time there. So they're going to probably meet that back marker. They're not going to meet him by the end of this lap, but they will meet him on the next lap. So again, this is it. They're going to start the penultimate lap as they come out here at clear race. And again, Curry has a look, and he's going to go now. He's got the line, lap 15. So there he goes.
Kennedy, there's no point in trying to resist that. He's got to tuck back in and try and shade him up the Hillwood Hill, which he does.
And there's the back marker. And look at that from Jack Kennedy as well.
That was tidy.
It was. And that could actually be the ideal position. The back marker's out of the way. He's not going to cost them too much time.
Wow, that was brilliantly done by Kennedy, and it absolutely alerted the back marker there's something going on. So now, that dazzling pink helmet of 21-year-old Ben Curry, racing knuckle to knuckle here with Dublin and Jack Kennedy as they go round Clearways into the Clark curve. They are approaching the final lap. This is where Curry will want to get some big drive. He doesn't particularly get it. Is Kennedy going to run defensive as they come down towards us?
Yeah, he's got to.
Curry slipstreams in.
Kennedy's so late on the brakes there. Is he going to get back to the apex? Yes, he does. He's got to move across and cover himself up to Druids here. He doesn't. They're going to appear in a second on the right-hand side. He's still got it.
So around Druids, dropping down the hill now to Bottom Bend, as it was once called, rather aptly. Now Graham Hill Bend, and Jack Kennedy looking to finally inflict a defeat on the Gearlink Kawasaki. The Integro Yamaha still has the advantage as they drill through the bottom of Surtees, flick it right into McLaren's. James, this is all down to the last bend. Yeah. Now Curry's trying to tuck underneath on the Kawasaki, and we know he's quick to the line.
Oh, it's all about keeping it even. I think Jack Kennedy's just going to get it. But Curry falls
across to the line.
Oh,
wow.
What was
that
it?
Was an absolute width of a tyre. Kennedy gets it by 0.027. And Perrin holds on to third place ahead of Francis Jones, Twyman, Oliver, Allingham, Rispoli and Dan Stamper in 10th. But that was a terrific finish.
Wasn't it just?
Michael de Midolf can't quite believe how did they lose that, because that Kawasaki surged, didn't it?
200ths of a second. I mean, you had to keep it neat. He doesn't know he's lost it. No, he's not sure, but it was Kennedy kept it neat, kept it disciplined coming out that last turn. And in fact, that's changed now. It's 6,000
of a second.
Oh, look at that. Someone's down on the... Is that the slow down lap, or was that the last lap?
No, I think that's the last lap.
Oh.
It's one of the Wiggly boys.
Yeah. What a great win for Jack.
That matched the 6,000ths of a second by which Tommy Hill snatched the British Superbike title right here from John Hopkins in 2011. 6,000ths of a second separate. I thought it was just about the thickness of the tyre.
Yeah, I mean, it originally was slightly different and it changed. But look at that, that's how it looked. He had to keep it disciplined, couldn't afford a slide. Curry's trying to get it tighter there, and then it's a run to the line. He's pulled out the slipstream, and look at the line, it's just coming, and no, you can just see, or is it there? He just gets it anyway. That's what 6,000ths of a second looks like. What a great race.
Wow. So Jack Kennedy, number 4, does manage to... and this will be... Michael thinks, did he get it then? Did that power of my Kawasaki make it through?
So
Jack Kennedy and Ben Curry now, for the first time, have confirmation of the result.
Yeah, and that's good for the championship as well. Curry's took 2 at Donington. That's down to 5 points now. I mean, almost certainly the champ is going to come from one of these two, because these two just look that little cut above. But I've got to mention Jamie Perrin as well in third.
Really
fantastic ride from him. Really good. Great to see Francis there as well, the MV in fourth. That's another strong ride from him. There is Perrin. So a really good ride from him.
So let's check out the results then. Jack Kennedy takes victory on the British Supersport sprint race here at Brands Indy. Ben Curry in second place by that margin. Jamie Perrin hanging on there very strongly and very commendably to take third place. Well clear in the end, a couple of seconds clear of Joe Francis, who was involved in that race-long battle with the second Integro Yamaha of Bradley Jones and Ross Twyman, not to mention Tom Oliver on the SGR Racing Yamaha. And then a little gap back to David Allingham, James Rispoli and Dan Stamper. 11th place goes to James Westmoreland, making his return to Supersport and onto the smaller Gearlink Kawasaki. Kurt Wigley finishes in 12th place ahead of Robert. So Kurt Wigley must have fallen after he crossed the line. Robert Kennedy 13th, Brad Perry 14th. Tommy Philp and the Draper Yamaha team nabbed 15th and the final point ahead of Wilford. Josh Owens, GP2, K-Lex in 17th place ahead of Danny Booth, Tim Neve and Bjorn Estvent.